Hi, my name's Elizabeth Mendoza. Today I'm going to be talking about my dispositions. And the first one, I had 10 out of 10, by the way. So the first one is high expectations. The high expectations is important because it's important to get to know your students and set expectations that are achievable and realistic for each student. And the only way to do this is by getting to know your students. And the second one that I had was respect diversity. So I live and work in Stockton, California. So we're a melting pot of diversity. And here at my site, we do a lot of things to expose students to different diversities and cultures and validate students' diversity and culture. One way we do this is by the multicultural fair, which is awesome because they bring in different arts, music, performances of different cultures. So it's awesome to see and nice to have the students see this too, because then they're exposed to different diversity and cultures. So the third one is fairness. I think fairness as an educator is important because it's important to be consistent with students. So if you have consequences for something, it should be across the board. Students should have an example of what fairness looks like, and by the teacher being consistent, they'll be able to show the students what fairness looks like. So the fourth one that I had was professionalism. I think as an educator and a professional, it's important to act like a professional, and that means respecting yourself, the way you dress, the way you interact with others, the way you interact with parents, with students. Be a professional, and that is important because students are always looking up to us, and I have 25 little ones looking up at me, so I know I want to be a great example. And the fifth one is reflection. I think reflection leads to growth, not only in your personal life, but also your professional life. And for me, I'm very, very lucky and blessed because I have a mentor here at my site that helps me with this. So if something didn't go as planned, like a lesson didn't go as planned, I'm able to talk to my mentor and reflect with her. And she has been teaching for 30 years, so she has a lot of experience, and she's able to help me reflect and maybe execute the lesson plan a different way, which is so helpful to have. And the sixth one is inquiry. I think it is important to have inquiry in the classroom because it helps students be engaged, be motivated, and want to ask more questions, learn and ask more questions, which is important. When we're learning, we want to have curiosity. So the seventh one is honesty. I think honesty is so important as a teacher because we are trusted with 25 little ones. We're trusted with the safe being, their test scores, the the honesty of their test scores, just everything that has to do with the student we're trusted with. So I think being honest is very important. And the eighth one is compassion. I think having compassion and being an example of compassion for our students is necessary, especially where I teach at. I teach at an urban school, a Title I school. So it's very important to teach our kids this and be an example of compassion. So when they grow up, they can show compassion to others, not only when they grow up, but even on the playground. It's hard to see sometimes. So being an example of compassion is important. And advocacy is my ninth one. Advocacy is having the student's best interest in mind. Regardless of the situation, we should always try to advocate for our students and their well being and what is best for them. And the 10th one is dedication. I think as a professional, we are always, or we should be, lifelong learners. We should continue to learn, continue to seek new information, especially I feel like in the teaching and in the teaching profession and education, things are always changing, things are always being added, and I think it's important as an educator to be a lifelong learner and continue learning and bringing in these new information and skills to our classrooms. So thank you for listening.